8:30, as we are getting reports, according to the National Weather Service chat, of golf ball sized hail in McLennan County. Okay, now let's put this track for you on this tornado warned storm. And again, if you are in both Bell as well as Falls County, you're going to want to get in your safe zone right now. Don't want to be out and about on this Friday night. Here's that tracker for you. About 8:10 arrival time in Westphalia, 8:16, 8:20 if you're in Rosebud, 8:20 as well in Wilson White High School. Briery, 8:26, Maysfield, 8:36, and this is where this storm is heading to. Now we're getting radar indicated hail as well as some very high winds. It's time to get in your safe zone, and if you see your city listed up on here, it's time to get prepared for what's to come. So taking another look at that velocity reading, again, these severe thunderstorm warnings across central Texas tonight, but it's this tornado warned storm that we're really focusing on, as we're getting some pretty decent rotation here with this tornado warned storm. So want to walk off screen once again. And excuse me as I catch my breath to give you a little bit of a better look at that rotation. So here is why they've gone ahead and issued this tornado warning, because we're getting some pretty decent rotation with this storm. And this is just south of Westphalia right now. So Bell County as well as Falls County, if you're just joining us, we are in a tornado warning, so that is why we have broke into coverage of the U.S. Open right now, because we want to keep you guys safe. Let's take it back to radar. We're getting some pretty decent rotation with these storms. This is that closer view. We're still seeing a very decent hail core with this storm as well. We're getting a lot of lightning out there, so again, get indoors, get in that safe place, which is going to be the innermost part of your home, away from any windows. Put your shoes on. We're getting a lot of substantial hail reports across central Texas, including in McLennan County as well. So I want to take you out to that wide view of the situation we are dealing with for tonight. So we're under that severe thunderstorm watch. This is until 10 o'clock. We're also under this severe thunderstorm warning. This is for Limestone County, northern Limestone County. Still under the severe thunderstorm warning as well for McLennan counties. And that's until 8:30. And we also have a severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Lampasas. But again, the reason we have cut on air to interrupt the U.S. Open is for this tornado warned storm that we are seeing in Bell, as well as Falls County. These storms have really just exploded over the last several hours. Excuse me while I take a sip of my water. And where we were only expecting to see straight line winds, only had about a 20% chance of seeing any storms tonight. This just shows you how the situation changes in the matter of hours and why you should always be weather aware. So this tornado warned storm, it has a really decent hail core. We're getting radar indicated hail of almost 2 inches. We also had that severe thunderstorm that produced a lot of hail as well in McLennan County. And we're gonna actually show you some of that hail video that we have right now. And this is from that storm in McLennan County a little bit early. And this is in Hewitt earlier. So you see over nickel-sized hail with these storms, and even larger hail reported in this tornado warned storm in both Bell as well as Falls County. So again, you're going to want to get in your safe zone. Here's another video that we got taken in Waco. And as you can see, lightning, a lot of it. That's exactly what we're seeing with a lot of these storms. It is just not the night that you want to be outdoors in at all. A lot of rainfall with these storms. We actually have an aerial flood advisory for McLennan County for tonight, as that supercell really just stayed put over McLennan County, and it just dumped a lot of rain. We've seen a lot of lightning. We're still in that severe thunderstorm warning here until about 8:30. We're still in this tornado warning as well until about 8:30. So I want to take that zoom in for you now. This is that tornado warning storm, and put another tracker on it. And as you can see, we're seeing a lot of hail with this. Also getting some very gusty winds. So that is why when those winds start to rotate, they have issued that tornado warning. Had a very low confidence, only about 20% chance to see these storms, but when you're dealing with a very unstable atmosphere like we've been in for the last several nights, where we've actually escaped the severe weather, once these storms get up and going, they can turn severe rather quickly, and that's exactly what we saw as we saw those storms get going in McLennan County about 6 o'clock, and they've continued to expand, and now a tornado warning in effect for both Bell as well as Falls County. Almost 2-inch size hail with these storms, a lot of lightning, a lot of thunder out there. When thunder roars, goes indoors. Definitely get in your safe spot now that we have this tornado warning that has been issued. That safe spot, places like your closet as well as your bathroom, away from any of those windows. I know it's Friday night, it's a holiday weekend, but you're gonna want to get inside if you are both in Bell as well as Falls County. And if you see me stepping off, it's just to adjust the radar to give you guys a little bit better of a view at the situation that we are dealing with. And as we take a little bit of that wide view yet again, and also if you hear me repeating myself, it's just giving you guys the vital information that you need for tonight. Take this lightning off of these storms, you're going to get a little bit of a better view at what's taking place. And you can see these hail cores south of Lampasas. We're getting hail as well just north of Copperas Cove. Also south of Crawford, we've gotten significant hail reports in Hewitt. That was that picture we showed you guys a little bit earlier, where that hail was bigger than nickel sized. Hail producing storms have been the main things we've been seeing for tonight, which is why they've issued a lot of these severe thunderstorm warnings. But the reason that we're getting this tornado warning, and again, this is in both Bell as well as Falls County, is due to this, the rotation that we are starting to see with these storms. So of course, when those reds and those greens start to combine together, it's not what we want to see. And this is, we're still seeing a pretty decent rotation with this tornado warning. So we got about 13 minutes left. And I also want to keep looking at National Weather Service chat to see what the update is going to be, if they'll extend this out any further, as they've extended a lot of our severe thunderstorm warnings tonight, just due to these storms, again, just exploding over the last couple of hours. So if you're just now joining us, we have cut in to the U.S. Open. Because of this tornado warned storm in both Bell as well as Falls County, you're taking a look right now at the velocity readings, and they aren't good. We're seeing a lot of rotation with these storms. These storms initially were forecast, if I only had a 20% shot to see them, but were forecast to really start to decrease once we get past sunset. So sunset is about 15 minutes from now, and we'll see if with the sun setting, if that helps some of these storms, because over the last couple of hours, even with the cloud cover, these storms have continued to explode. So I want to take you back to radar now, so you get a little bit more of that wide view of what we are dealing with out there. On your Friday night, you're going to want to be inside. If you're in Bell and Falls County, you're going to want to be in your safe place right now, at least until 8:30, as we have this this tornado warning and many severe thunderstorm warnings in effect across central Texas. So here's another look at radar. This is a little bit of a clear view of that tornado warned storm that we're dealing with. Very decent size hail core. And again, this is until 8:30, but we're about 10 minutes away, and it's really not showing signs of weakening with this storm. In fact, it looks like it's getting a little bit stronger, as if you've stepped outside, it's a very moist atmosphere. The heat really drove up these storms this afternoon, and that's why they've increased. But with this moist atmosphere they're encountering, that's why they continue to strengthen. We've gotten a lot more of the straight line winds elsewhere, but we're seeing a lot of rotation with this storm. We're also getting hail reports, nearly 2 inches as well. We're getting really decent sized hail reports in McLennan County. And the reason I paused there is because I was reading the latest update with this tornado warning. As I said, it's set to expire at 8:30. And they're going to downgrade it for Falls County, for southwestern Falls County, as it does look like and issue a tornado warning downstream into Milam County. So we will continue to stay on air. As for Falls County, southwestern Falls County, they're going to downgrade it into a severe thunderstorm warning. But again, because these storms really are just continuing to show great strength, they're going to issue that downstream into Milam County. So if you're in Milam County, now is the time to get in your safe place. So I want to put the tracker on there for you. So Rosebud, arrival time. This is that tornado warning storm again. 8:24, Wilderville 8:30, Baileyville 8:34, 8:42 for Hammond, 8:46 for Bremen, Franklin 8:59, 9:06 for Easterly, and 9:10 for Ridge. And again, this is that tornado warning storm right now in Bell as well as Falls County. The National Weather Service says they're going to go ahead and downgrade the southwestern Falls County into that severe thunderstorm. So still not going to want to be outside. We're, as you can see on radar, still getting some very decent sized hail with this storm. And we're getting a pretty good V-notch on this storm as well. And they're going to go ahead and issue that downstream into Milam County. So I'm going to step off and I want to show you guys this velocity reading.
It also just shows the importance of why you guys want to be weather aware no matter what the situation is, considering we have been talking about the chance for severe storms throughout pretty much every night this week. Isn't that right, Ashley?
Absolutely. And I mean, we've gotten off scot-free for the last couple of nights. That activity stayed well to the north of our area, but our luck has ran out. We do have multiple severe thunderstorm warnings and a tornado warning in effect. And this is that velocity reading right now with that tornado warning. We're still seeing some pretty decent rotation with this. And that's why they've gone ahead. Let's see if they've issued. They're planning to issue that tornado warning downstream into Milam County. As again, these storms are just really not showing a lot of signs of weakening, and a lot of that has to do with the very moist atmosphere that these systems are encountering. So you're wanting to be in your safe place. If you have not gotten there already, it's time to head into the safe place without the windows, innermost part of your home. Even where we're seeing these severe thunderstorm warnings, where we still have this one, we're getting pretty decent sized hail. We're getting a lot of hail reports with this as well.
And that's no surprise considering just how, like you were saying, lots of moisture in the atmosphere, but you also have those extremely strong southerly winds. It's been breezy over the last few days, but those southerly winds are pulling plenty of moisture and plenty of heat right off the Gulf of Mexico, and that's combining with the hot air temperatures. There is so much fuel for all of these severe storms throughout the entirety of the viewing area, and also for North Texas. We were talking in the morning shows about how we've seen nothing but constant severe risks for North Texas. They have on there, almost 6 days straight of large-sized hail, and we're getting reports of not just golf ball, but anywhere from golf ball to grapefruit-sized hail, which is crazy. But at the same time, given the current weather conditions, we're talking about really strong winds helping to fuel these storms. That fuels a lot of those updrafts that we talk about that create those extremely strong thunderstorms in the first place. So it's not ideal situation, absolutely, but it's also ideal for these storms, not ideal for us. That's the best way for me to put it like that. So we're still seeing anywhere from, with a lot of these severe storms, from anywhere from between, oh gosh, you're getting up to about ping pong golf ball sized hail with some of these storms, but you also see extremely strong winds coming up when they do at the time. So we're continuing to monitor the situation as as the situation continues.
Yeah,
to
and it looks
develop.
like they are going to downgrade this tornado warning into a severe thunderstorm warning. We're still getting hail. This again is radar indicated. You're taking a look at radar right now. You can see just how big this hail core is. And they're going to downgrade it back into that severe thunderstorm warning. This is going to be for Bell as well as Falls and Milam counties. So we still have that tornado warning right now, 8:25 in effect until 8:30. But it does look like they're going to go ahead and downgrade it. We're still getting some pretty decent sized hail. We're still getting very gusty thunderstorm winds, and it's just not a night you're going to want to be outdoors. You're going to want to be inside, especially because we're getting a lot of lightning with these storm systems as well. As Jordan mentioned, we've gotten some reports of anywhere between nickel to baseball to grapefruit size hail, especially McLennan County, where those storms got up and going here a couple of hours ago. We've gotten some very gusty straight line winds so far, but because of the rotation that we are seeing in this particular storm in Bell as well as Falls County, that's why they issued this tornado warning. So still going to want to be weather aware for tonight. We're definitely going to keep you updated as the situation went from being very quiet to very messy quickly, and it just goes to show you how that weather situation can change really in just a matter of hours. And that's why we continue to say it through all of our broadcasts. You're still going to want to be weather aware. We had only about a 20% shot to see these storms tonight. Weren't expecting to see any tornadoes, but things change. We have a very unstable, very moist atmosphere, and sometimes these things can happen. So we'll be able to keep you weather aware. Even as these storms downgrade, they will officially got the word that this tornado warning will be allowed to expire here in the next 3 minutes. It's been downgraded into that severe thunderstorm warning. So once that gets downgraded, we will come off the air. We'll broadcast the U.S. Open once again, but we will continue to follow this weather situation on social media. As again, it's a very messy night, a very busy night across Central Texas weather-wise. We had this tornado warned storm. This is going to be allowed to expire for both Bell as well as Falls County. But we're, as you can see on radar, still seeing some very decent sized hail with this storm. We're also seeing a little bit of rotation when it came to those winds. They went ahead and issued that tornado warning. Again, this is all radar indicated. Haven't gotten any official reports of any tornado that has been on the ground, but this is now getting downgraded here in the next couple of minutes to that severe thunderstorm warning, but still very gusty winds, over 60-mile-per-hour winds, a lot of lightning, and radar indicated 2.5-inch hail. So still not going to want to be outside. Again, once this tornado warning is allowed to expire, me and Jordan here are going to go off the air, but we are still be broadcasting our radar online and giving you frequent updates of the severe thunderstorm warnings that are in effect, because we have a lot in effect for your Friday night. Here's a little bit of that wider view at the situation going on. If you're just joining us, we had to cut into the U.S. Open because of a tornado warning that we saw as well, Bell and Falls County. No official reports of a tornado on the ground. This is all radar indicated, but we've gotten very large hail as well as very gusty thunderstorm winds. We're getting severe thunderstorm warnings popping up all for this afternoon and for this evening. So we are in a severe thunderstorm watch until at least 10 o'clock tonight. I had no word on if they'll extend that any further, but this is for a lot of areas in Central Texas for tonight.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, if we can go ahead and swap on over to Max 2, we have now noticed a little bit less in terms of significant rotation across the region, at least localized. We're talking not necessarily tornadic, but more so supercell rotation. So very strong thunderstorm, which can be indicated by the pink. That's going to be that hail core right in the middle, right up just to the north of Barclay as well as Rosebud. It's continuing to move in a south-southeasterly motion. As Ashley said, this tornado warning is going to be allowed to expire, but that doesn't mean that the situation is going to be any less dangerous, considering that the severe thunderstorm warning is still going to be in effect for the next hour. Like you said, you can see just all the lightning within the actual hail core itself. It is extremely strong, so we're continuing to watch the situation. And even if you head a little bit to the northwest, we're looking just to the north of Meadow Grove and Cabot. We're still seeing a little bit of that supercell rotation. Even just to the north of Temple along I-35 around Troy, I'm seeing another little hail core there. So you start to see kind of this mixing motion going on in terms of some activity. Here is actually what I got in terms of velocity, and you don't necessarily see those bright greens and reds together that indicate rotation, but you're still seeing that very bright green that is showing extremely strong winds. Typically, a storm doesn't go severe unless we have at least 58-mile-per-hour wind gusts. I know that's an oddly specific number, but it also is stronger than a typical tropical storm, getting close to hurricane-force wind gusts. That's going to cause damage no matter what. We're talking about situations like you have fallen down trees that can fall down on top of the power lines. So there's going to be reports of possibly power outages, down tree limbs, blocking some roadways, causing some traffic jams. And of course, if you ever try to drive in 70-mile-per-hour winds, I don't suggest doing it. It's downright unsafe. So here we go. Here's that current velocity reading across the map. I do want to show you the current.
Sorry to interrupt you, Jordan. We're
yeah.
going to go ahead and take this into our app as well as our 6 Plus, as the tornado warning has expired. It's now a severe thunderstorm warning for Bell as well as Falls, Milam County. So we're still going to be streaming with you guys here over the next couple of hours, excuse me, as we continue to follow the current situation that's happening. We're seeing a lot of hail with these storms, a lot of gusty winds. Haven't got any spotter confirmation about any tornadoes on the ground, but again, as Jordan mentioned, that doesn't mean that it's any less of a threat just because we're seeing hail as well as winds. You're still going to want to be weather aware for tonight, and we're going to go ahead and stream our radar for you as well as on our 6 News app, and continue to follow the latest as we have multiple severe thunderstorm warnings in effect until 9:30 is the latest that is set to expire. And we also have that severe thunderstorm watch that is in effect. So we are going to go streaming. Thank you for joining us. We're going to go back to the coverage of the U.S. Open.
Okay, I wasn't sure which one they were streaming on.
Oh, they put us back up.
All right, cool. All right, everyone, so we finally got our severe weather computer working, and it took a little bit of time, but nonetheless, it's still going to be extremely important to stay weather aware with this kind of situation as it continues to develop. We still have that severe thunderstorm watch box in effect basically for McLennan County, Falls County, and even Bell County, and it continues to push farther south. Now, you notice a lot of these showers and thunderstorms, they popped up extremely quickly all across the region, and you can even see just within the last couple hours of the radar loop, they are all just exploding in strength, and most of that is due to the fact that, well, we got those strong southeasterly winds continuing to pull up plenty of moisture from the Gulf of Mexico. Then on top of it, you have these excessive heat warnings, so you have high humidity, you have high heat, and that is exactly what a thunderstorm likes in terms of formation and for strength, of course. Now, I'm watching this one system. You have 2 of them, basically one right in the middle of McLennan County right now, and right over, it looks like Bruceville Eddy. I can go ahead and zoom in on that, and you can see a large hail core right over top of Meadow Grove, as well as Bruceville Eddy. That is a severe thunderstorm warning system in effect until about 9 o'clock. But notice that it's moving a little bit of a different direction compared to the tornado warning storm. That one was actually moving almost southeast. This one is moving almost directly east into 35, right around Hewitt, Lorena, Bruceville Eddy. And then we kind of have the other one. That's going to be the one down here near Lott, Travis, Rosebud, even Burlington along Highway 77. That one, again, you can see just that bright blue. That's going to be the large hail core. That's where you see the most amount of lightning, the largest amount of hail all throughout much of the region. So you're still seeing the chances for severe weather, of course, and damaging weather as well. So let's go ahead and pop up the velocity readings, because whether or not we're tornado warned, you're still going to have extremely strong winds across much of the region. So let's go ahead and see what I got for you here. Around Barclay, north of Meeks, we're starting to see those really strong winds just to the north of, it looks like Cyclone there, and you can see those very bright greens. I want to see if I can actually pull up something of that's going to be severe thunderstorm watch. Let me go ahead and see if I can get you an exact estimate on the wind speed in here as it's picked up by the radar. So it looks like we're getting very strong velocity there. It says about 30 meters per second. So again, you're talking definitely severe storm kind of category. Nonetheless, it's certainly a serious situation. So of course, the severe thunderstorm warning, they are detecting 65-mile-per-hour wind gusts. People and animals outdoors can be injured. So we told you in the morning to walk your dogs in the morning just because of the excessive heat kind of situation. Now you don't want to be out there because, number one, it's still hot, but you also have the risk for any kind of severe weather. Of course, at least if your dog was anything like mine, he was always afraid of thunder and would bark constantly. So nonetheless, though, they also know the dangers of some of these strong thunderstorms.
We're getting a lot of lightning. Not to, say that that's not equally as important, and
right.
That's what we're seeing, a lot of lightning with these storms. We're seeing a lot of rainfall earlier, so I was saying it's just not the night to be outdoors. It's kind of those Friday night ends that you'll want. Confidence was low with these storms, but it wasn't zero, and we're certainly seeing a lot of activity happening across central Texas tonight. So we have multiple severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. A new severe thunderstorm warning is coming for another cell that is moving into Bell County. This is going to be mostly a hail threat. Now,
is that going to be the one right over top of Flat right now?
Yes.
Aha, so this is going to be that storm. You can see kind of a small hail core right there, right on top of Flat, Leon Junction. You can see a little bit of that, but it's going to continue to push its way. Let me go ahead and pop up the tracker on this one so we can see exactly which direction it's going to be heading, kind of what areas it'll likely hit. Unfortunately, because it's not severe warning, our tracker is unable to see exactly the determined velocity and the direction of that kind of the system. Nonetheless, though, we're still going to keep on it and see exactly what we can get. So let me go ahead and see what I can get in terms of hail tracks, because it's always important to watch out for how strong a lot of this hail can be. And of course, here in Central Texas, we're no stranger to hail. That is for certain. Here's a look at the one in Rosebud that is still severe thunderstorm warned. You can see a little bit of that very dark blue. That's going to be ping pong sized hail, getting close to maybe some golf ball sized hail, but it's very slight. This is just what basically the radar is able to pick up. So the radar can pick up a lot of things. It can pick up how heavy the rain is falling, the size of some of the hail within the actual thunderstorm itself, and also the direction and speed a lot of this stuff is moving. So the radar systems that we have nowadays are extremely advanced and can pick up even the smallest thing. But let me go ahead and push it on over to the new severe thunderstorm warning system right over top of Bell County. So it looks like, yep, severe thunderstorm warning includes Bell, Coryell, Falls, and McLennan County. until 9:45. That's going to be because of severe status. Of course, we're talking winds 60 miles per hour and hail about 1.5 inches in diameter. So yeah, that's going to be about ping pong sized hail. One good way to remember it, I actually have a fun little graphic I think you guys would appreciate, and that's going to be different hail sizes and kind of what it means in terms of severe status. So we often see a lot of this hail become a decent size, especially here in Central Texas. So once it hits 1 inch in diameter, that's about the size of a quarter, that is going to reach severe level. Now, what we see with a lot of these storms, we see anywhere from about ping pong to even hen egg sized. But of course, in the absolute worst kind of scenario, we start to see anywhere from softball to grapefruit size. And yeah, we're no stranger to that either, even though it says on the bottom, exceptionally rare. I mean, it is exceptionally rare, but you know, it's Texas. We get all kinds of rare stuff out here. Now, you're probably interested in a lot of how this hail forms. I keep talking about a lot of these updrafts. So Jordan, what are updrafts? What we got basically is a strong enough wind kind of fuels the thunderstorm. That's why you get a lot of these with kind of a flat bottom but a big bulging top. That's just what it looks like from the ground perspective. So as the hail forms, those strong winds continue to kind of go up and freeze the rain where the freezing level is, because it's high up in the atmosphere. If the winds are really strong, it gathers more and more layers of ice until it can't weigh enough and it falls. And that's how you get enough. That's how you get some really strong hail, is if the winds are strong enough to support it. So the frozen water droplets are swept up, additional layers of ice keep forming, so that's why some of them kind of look like a crystal-like structure, because some of that hail, it's not going to be forming an absolute perfect ball depending on how much that thing is moving up and down. It's like freezing ice, adding water on top, and then refreezing it over and over and over again. It's quite a process, and yes, this is all happening inside of the clouds. That's a good way to kind of experiment with this. Next time you're on an airplane and you fly through a cloud, it's typically not smooth. It's very bumpy. You get a lot of turbulence across the region. That's exactly why. There's all kinds of activity happening, not necessarily in severe clouds, but even just regular clouds too. The updrafts, of course, are going to be significantly less. That's why it's still safe to fly through them, especially in something as heavy and aerodynamic, of course, as an airplane. Now, we were talking about this morning, and I assume Ashley was as well, the severe weather outlook. We were only at a level 1 risk earlier today. You can still see I still have that level 1 there. Yeah, that's been upgraded, of course. Level 2 slight risk. So we are seeing the chance for even more severe weather going into the later parts of the evening. So we definitely want to keep you guys weather aware, especially as the situation just continues to show very promising atmosphere conditions